I'm so excited for this woman. She's so dynamic. So let's give a virtual warm welcome to Dana Kay. Dana was successfully, hello, darling. Dana was successfully handling the balancing act of a very successful corporate career, wife and mother, until her son began to have health challenges that led her down a very path full of questions and determination to discover the answers. Today, she is a board-certified holistic health and nutrition practitioner who helps families who have children with ADHD through nutrition and functional lab work, identify hidden stressors and dysfunctions so that they can implement a holistic and all-natural family approach to the health and wellness. Dana Kay, I love what you do. Welcome to the stage here with me, this virtual stage. How are you, beautiful? Let's make sure Dana Kay's got her mute open, babe. Is your mute on?
Yep, no, my mute's
Okay,
on.
there you go. There you are. I just couldn't hear you. They had my sound down.
Great. Thank you so much. I am so grateful and absolutely thrilled to be here with you and all of these amazing women watching today.
I love it. Well, give a shout out to Dana. I know you've got a massive audience here because Dana's in our little private group of all the women that have been sharing, and your audience is like, woo, we love Dana. Come in. So make some noise in the comments. Let us know that you're here and give support to this beautiful woman. So Dana, let's share that story. I love what you do, the dedication. You and I have worked together for quite some time. And every time I read one of your articles that are published in like Forbes, Inc. magazine, it's like, wow, this woman is changing how parenting is done for children with ADHD.
Yep. Definitely. Yes, I do know that there are a lot of people tuning in. I know there's a lot of people tuning in from my home country, Australia. So I just want to say hi to all my family and my friends. I haven't seen them for 3 years, because of COVID and everything. So I'm super excited to be able to talk with you today. So I'm just going to dive in. Is that okay with you?
Yes, go for it, sister. It's your turn.
Fabulous. So I just want to ask everyone, do you remember what it's like to put together a Lego? Now, I have got 2 boys, so building Lego in my house is a pretty regular occurrence. As you can see here, I've actually got one that was created this weekend by my oldest son. So I'm curious. I would love to know, out of this audience, how many of you like to build with the Lego manual? And how many of you like to build using nothing but the ideas in your head? No manual needed, just dive right in. So I want to take a bit of a poll, and I'm not going to be able to see the answers, but I want to take this poll. Give me a thumbs up in the comments if you like manuals, or give me a thumbs down if you don't. Now,
we'll be able to give you some feedback loops as this is coming in, Dana. We'll let you know what's happening, because I can tell you personally, I have to have the manual because my creative with Legos, I make just like Hanale's like, Mom, that's like, bleh. What did you make?
Yeah.
I was like, I have no idea.
Totally. When I'm building Legos with my kids, I'm one of those people like you who likes to use the manual. And my kids are totally fine with the idea, taking an idea from their heads and just building from scratch until they come up with an amazing product like this. But me, I like the clear directions that I know are going to create the finished product that I want. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to Legos, I trust a manual much more than I trust my own intuition. But today, I'm going to challenge you to put down the manual and start trusting your intuition when it comes to your business and to your life as well. Because the truth is, if you do everything by the book, you're not going to see the success that you want to see. Sometimes you have to take some risks and throw out that manual, the manual that says how you should be doing things. And you've got to trust your gut. And that's when the big things start to happen. Now, for years, we as women have been told that we can't trust our intuitions, that our feelings get in the way, that our gut instincts will lead us astray. And we've been told to only tune into our logical sides if we want to be successful. I'm sure you know that, Rhonda. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm here today to tell you that it's not true. Our intuitions as women are not our weakness. They are our superpowers. And following my intuition was the number one key in my success, both personally and professionally. And the next few minutes, I want to share and I want to challenge each and every one of you to stop ignoring your intuitions in 3 very important ways. But before I do that, I just want to share a quick story about how using my intuition totally changed the direction of my life. Years ago, I was on a completely different career path. I was in accounting. I mean, I look back and I think, oh my gosh, completely removed from the health and wellness space that I'm in now. And as Rhonda mentioned in my introduction, I'm now a board certified holistic health and nutrition practitioner. And I work with families all across the USA. Yes, I'm in the USA, even though I sound like I'm from Australia. We've been here for over 7 years. But I help these families naturally reduce their child's ADHD symptoms. But like I said, I didn't begin my career in that field. It was really only when my son's ADHD symptoms became so severe that I could no longer ignore them. And shortly after he was diagnosed with ADHD, his doctor prescribed a medication to treat his symptoms. Now, with the side effects that developed from that medication, his doctor prescribed another medication, then another, and then finally a 4th medication. And with that 4th prescription, my gut told me there had to be a better way. This could not be the only way to treat his ADHD. And that's what led me to search for another solution. There was no other options provided to my family that day when my son was diagnosed. And I wish someone would have told me back then there are other options. Medication is not the only solution to ADHD. So that day when my son's doctor told me to put him on the 4th medication, I stopped blindly listening to him and began to follow my gut. Up until that point, I had ignored my intuition. I had shoved down those gut feelings and quietly listened to someone else. And that was a mistake. And I was determined to rectify it. Now, after learning about the effects of food on behaviour, I changed the way our family ate. I got rid of inflammatory foods. I figured out through functional lab testing that what my son's underlying stresses were, and then I slowly worked to heal his gut. And by doing this, I was able to not only change his health for the better, get him off all medication, and he hasn't been on them for years, but also change my whole life. Now I have a thriving business helping other families of children with ADHD learn how to reduce symptoms naturally, and I have a healthy, thriving family as well. And it's all because I broke the status quo. You know, I trusted my intuition instead of what others were telling me to do and followed what I knew was right. I did that with my son back then, and I'm continuing to do it with my business today. Trusting my intuition is what enabled me to take my revenue from absolutely nothing to a level where I have a highly successful, thriving business. And that's what I want to share with you all today. 3 things that can help you take your business and also personal life to the next level. Okay, so I'm going to dive in. Is that okay with you, Rhonda?
Yeah, let's do it, sister.
Fabulous. Number 1 is don't let fear get in your way. Now, there are 3 primary fears that often stop us from moving forward with our dreams: fear of failure, fear of financial investment, and fear of competition. When I first started my business, I had each of these fears. I was terrified I would spend all of this money starting a business and then lose it all. I was also terrified of failure, and I was afraid of the competition. I viewed other health professionals as a threat to my business. I just want to say today, women, we are not threats to one another. We do not need to dim the light of other women so that our lights shine brighter. Instead, I found that when I help other women shine their lights brighter, mine gets brighter in the process too. All of these fears of failure, fears of competition, fear of financial investment, hold us back from our true potential. Let's stop letting fear hold us back. The truth is, no entrepreneur is ever successful without a little bit of risk. You have to take some risks if you want to reach that big payoff. Just like when you're building a Lego, okay, we're going to take it back to the Lego. You might not always be able to see your finished product, but you have to keep on putting those pieces and moving forward, knowing that with each step, you are getting a little bit closer. I love this quote by Nelson Mandela. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Wow. The brave man, or in our case, brave woman, is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. So ladies, okay, all of you out there today, I want to challenge you to do it anyway, to do it afraid. Whatever that thing is that you have been wanting to do, whatever that thing is that you feel deep in your gut is what your business or your life needs to be successful, do it anyway. Don't let fear stand in the way of your success. So that brings me to the second lesson I learned. Pay the pros. When I first started building my business, I didn't want to have to pay other people. I felt, it was too risky. I had already invested so much time and money into my company that I really didn't want to invest anymore. But my gut also told me that I needed help, that I wouldn't get where I wanted to go in my business if I didn't start leaning on the experts around me. Oprah Winfrey says this: surround yourself only with the people who are going to take you higher. That's what I finally began to do. And the payoff, it's been huge, okay? The experts I surround myself with were able to take my business to places I honestly have never imagined possible. Going back to our Lego illustration, it's kind of like when my boys come to me because they can't get a piece unstuck. I'm sure if you've got kids, I'm sure you've all experienced that. They could keep working on it themselves. And honestly, if they'd work hard enough, they'd probably eventually get those pieces to come apart on their own. But they would save themselves so much time and sweat if they would just come to me or their dad in the beginning. In our businesses, when we take that risk and invest in expert coaching, they can take us to places so much faster and with so much less work than we would ever reach on our own. And the payoff is totally worth it. There is absolutely no way I would be reaching this level in my business if not for the expert coaches I have worked with along the way, okay? And Rhonda is one of them. So the final tip, build your team using your instincts, even if you're breaking the mold. In the past year and a half, I have grown my business from a one-woman show to now a team of 10 women. In many of these hires, I haven't chosen women who necessarily have the most impressive resumes. What I've done instead is chosen women who share my passion and my purpose. They understand the business and have a passion for what we do. Now, if I were following that manual, I would hire only those with the best resumes and experience. But my intuition told me something different. It told me to hire women who I saw that something special in, women that I knew I could train to do the job well, and women that I knew would want to do the job well because they shared my vision. When you are building your team, don't be afraid to think outside the box with your hires. Richard Branson said that big business starts small. So no matter where you are today, no matter how small or how big your business is, throw out that manual. Trust your gut and watch your business grow. When it comes to Legos, it's not a big deal if you use a manual or your own creativity, but when it comes to life and when it comes to business, my challenge to you today is to toss that manual aside and trust your intuition to guide you. You'll be amazed at the final product you're able to create. Yeah. And I just want to say thank you for everyone so much for listening to my story. And I really, really hope that I've been able to inspire just at least one of you, because that one person is then going to inspire someone else. So thank you for your time.
Oh, I love it. Dana Kay is amazing. That's such a powerful story.
This past year, as we found ourselves closed off from the world and from each other, a book was being written. by a small group of wild women. That book inspired the manifesto that gave birth to a movement. Imagine an emotionally charged letter of gratitude from one struggling anonymous woman to another anonymous woman who'd mentored her and awakened the wildness within her without even realizing it. One wild woman awakening another wild woman, inspiring her to believe when she'd almost given up, to let loose her wildness and step into her true power. Being a wild woman means to lead fearless, to love fearless, to live fearless, to be kind, thoughtful, driven, and balanced, to embrace honest wealth, to trust our intuition, to develop true leadership, and to welcome diversity. We are Women Gone Wild. Come be wild with us.